Hey everybody, Nick here, and today we're going to do a little bit of disassembly and maintenance on a little bit of a knife right here. This is the Spyderco Lil Nilakka. Interesting little knife. This is what's called a flash batch out of Spyderco, and basically they made this knife for a very, very short period of time. And I was able to pick one of these guys up actually on the secondary market off my buddy Eric. I almost bought one of these at Blade Show, actually. I was talking to the Spyderco people and handling it, and it's a very nice little knife, that is, and I think it's well suited to my particular set of needs. I mean, this is very much a Nick Shabazz knife, let's be real here. But it's a, I don't know, it's kind of it's a neat little piece, and so I almost did it, but at the time I was pretty tapped out in terms of knives. Still a little tapped out, let's be real here, and I just decided, you know, it wasn't going to happen. Okay, so why are you not coming apart here? I've already removed these 3 screws. That should be the only things holding this knife together. It could just be that there are really tight tolerances here and that the knife, as a result, wants to stay together rather than come apart, and that's neat, certainly, but why the heck are you not coming apart here? There we go. Okay. See, we can finally start to see, yeah, it's just tight tolerances, which can't argue with that, I guess. So we'll just kind of keep squeezing here until something happens. It's probably not great advice, or it's very good advice, depending on what you're doing. Come on. Okay. I'm just trying to kind of apply force at off angles there. There we go. We're starting to bob loose here. Come on. Wow, that's a tight fit. Wow, this video is full of innuendo. I swear, guys, I'm not intending it. And gals, for that matter. Alrighty. There we go. It's popping loose here. Beautiful. As you can see here, like half this damn video is going to be spent with me getting this backspacer back on there. There we go. Okay, so the G10 is off, which is nice. Now the pivot is popped off, and so it's just going to be a question of getting it up over off the backspan, and there we are. We are removed, then everything is good to go. So what we can see here pretty immediately is that rust? No, it just looks like gunk. That's okay. I can deal with some gunk. But what we can see here is that the construction is actually, in a lot of ways, similar to the regular Nilakka, the full-size guy, that is now discontinued off of Spyderco. Yeah, it's a little, looks like maybe a little tiny bit of rust there. Oh, and then that's the clip screw going into the other side there. Is it slight bit of patina or something? Either way, what I am going to go ahead and do... Is that scraping off? You know, I don't know what that is, but what I am going to go ahead and do is apply a little bit of frog lube to this surface here. Just such that if it is rust, it doesn't remain rust. That makes sense. Probably doesn't. Let's be real here. Looks like I could have made my life easier by pushing out these 2 Chicago screws here. Probably would have helped me pop that backspacer off a little bit easier, but it is what it is. And then I'll pop the pivot at least down. No need to pop it all the way out. Okay. There we go. There we go. So now I want to clean off my washers here. This is already a very smooth knife, so I don't particularly worry about like polishing the washers or anything like that, which is nice. And then this, yeah, this washer goes on this side, so we'll put that over here. You know, generally speaking, it shouldn't be a problem to swap the side that the washers are on. And especially from a company like Spyderco's, Spyderco and Spyderco's Taichung plant, the tolerances are generally tight enough that it's not really a concern. But, you know, it's something you might consider on occasion. Something I consider when I think about it. Okay, what I'm actually going to do here, because this knife is a very smooth knife and it's never going to be fall-shutty, I've put on the end of this just a little bit of grease. This is nano grease by the same folks who do nano oil. I put a little bit of it there, and I'm going to put a little bit of it, what side is this? Yeah, okay. I'm going to put a little bit of it here as well. With the goal that sometimes a little bit of grease mixed with a thicker oil will make for an even more compellingly smooth action on a knife like this that is, you know, very much, it's never going to be a fall shutty thing, but it's always going to be a glassy thing. Sometimes that can be a little bit helpful. It's not a huge deal, but it is something I try on occasion. The Spyderco Sleesh Bowie is a similar affair in terms of its smoothitude and the type of smoothness that it's offering. I'm going to go ahead and clean out the inside of the pivot here, just to make sure that's okay. The outside of the pivot is fine, so that's good. What am I missing here? Not much. All right, so I'm going to use the 85 weight nano oil here, which will stay in position, and again, tends to work a little bit better for these sorts of smoothie knives. I'm just going to put a little dollop in there. And then while this is on here, I'm just going to spin, spin, spin. There we go. A little too much oil. It's my life. Very often I find myself with good biography titles for myself. A little too much oil. Pretty acceptable one. All right. Or memoir, at least. Don't need a biography. Don't need a memoir. Not that interesting. Let's be real here, guys. Alrighty. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of frog lube on here. I'm using the frog lube paste, but you could use the regular stuff. Don't use frog lube as lubrication. This is a common thing I tell people. Yet people still do it on occasion. Just kind of applying a little bit over here as well. And so, yeah, just using that stuff. That'll help to prevent any further rustification from going on over here if it is indeed rustificating. I believe the proper term is oxidizing, but I prefer rustificating. I feel like that's just really the better choice. Okay, put a little tiny bit of oil right here. There we go, and we spin, spin, spin. And I'm going to put a little bit more oil on the front side here, which will then mix with this grease, which is already on this scale. What am I forgetting here, guys? And gals, for that matter. I'm sure I'm doing something that's hashtag not a brilliant man, but so far I don't know what it is. Okay, there we go. So I had to press the lock bar down slightly to get everything kind of into position here. But now we're back in business here. And actually I should put... Ew. Mustn't have cleaned this front of it. This side of it, that is. Is that rust? Where's my sandpaper? Can't be sandpaper. I know we're around here somewhere. Here we go. Yeah, looks like it might be. Weird. And then again, I happen to know that my buddy Eric, who just had this guy, actually lives in a very humid area. At least I assume that Louisiana is a very humid area. So, there we go. Let's remove the worst of it there. Let's go ahead and put a little bit more frog lube on here. This is something that, you know, you could potentially do, take the other side apart as well, and do all that as well, but it's not something I'm feeling the need to do at the moment. There we go. All right, so there's that. Now we need to set this down. I'll go ahead and wipe this area off here. That could just be like dust from the factory or something. I'm not 100% sure. But either way, there we go. G10 is popped into position now, which is good. Let's go ahead and put in the scale screws here. I'm going to start off using the... start off, that is, by putting some Loctite on here. Okay, slip this into place. There we go. And only going to partially tighten that guy for the moment. This blade is scary sharp, so I'm slightly afraid of having it out like that, but it's also short enough that I can manage it. There we go. Let's see how it's kind of pinching out some of that frog lube. That's a That's some tolerances right there. So once I wipe that clean, this goes back to looking like single chunk of metal, that is. Then I'm going to go ahead and put this guy into position here. Move back to my D8 bit. Here we go. Ah, come on. Get on there. There we go. And now at this point, for this side, I just need to tighten it to the extent that it doesn't have any blade play and is as optimally smooth as I can muster. So loosen it up a little bit. It's plenty smooth. No play. I wonder if I can loosen it up further. No play. Very smooth. Can't argue with that. Alrighty, so there you go. That's how to disassemble and maintain your Spyderco Lil Nilakka here. Hope this has been interesting to you and that you have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.